would find themselves in a lab being tested and poked and prodded on. They told me, because they knew I would not think of them as crazy, that I could find a way to, or find someone to help them. If we do not believe them, then we sentence these children to suffer alone. No one should feel alone. When is it okay to speak and know you will be heard without being judged? Their pain is my pain, and it is our pain. This may help you to understand why humanity is so depressed and angry and does not even know why. A subconscious reflection is crying out, "Help me, help us." What happens to one happens to and affects all of us. So many of you may think of me as brave, but I simply can no longer be silent now that I understand, nor can I no longer distract myself from everyone's hearts crying out. There is nowhere we can hide from all the pain in the world. It will find a way to seek us out. It is important to not be mad at ourselves for the allowance of this, nor to direct our anger at humans nor to direct our anger at humanity, as any kind of anger is fuel. If your family is not open to this info, it is okay. Just because we are like this today does not mean we will be like this tomorrow. We all have our triggers of awakening. Take me, for example. I made fun of my father for talking about these things, and now I have totally become him. Just let others come into this in a way that feels natural for them. To force this on them is to repel them. It is important to be loving, gentle, and forgiving with yourself and others. We are responsible for the good games we play in becoming human. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. It seems we are living the fable of Beauty and the Beast, in which we are learning to love and forgive our inner beast. Once that is done, the spell is broken on everyone in the castle and the world, signifying the world. If I am responsible for the world being where it is at, now then, I'd rather bite the bullet and just be honest with myself so we can finally move forward and finally see pain and repetition go into reminiscence. So many of you are concerned with the reptiles, but I am more concerned with people. We are the ones that have sold each other out time and time again. I do not think the details of the game is as important as understanding the mechanics and foundation of the game. I feel it would be much of great value if we played the game of pretend, and pretended we were the Illuminati, the reptiles, the greys, etc. What is it like? What does it feel like? What is life like in their shoes? What happened to make them like this? How did we assist in manifesting their entrance into our life? How much sense does it make to say, "We come in peace, but our actions speak louder than our words"? The creation of a shadow is a universal phenomenon in people. I can't say that word, phenomenon. A pattern formed as a child's ego or center of awareness is formed. This developmental process always entails a clash between the individuality of the child and the opinions of the culture and parents. Each child learns its culture's acceptable qualities contrary to the cultural and family views of what is seen as good and appropriate are regulated to the child's unconscious shadow. But repressing qualities does not eliminate them. They continue to function unsupervised and unchecked, projected out into the world onto others. Why? Because they are a part of you and they act like pain as a messenger, trying and hoping to be addressed to the right address. So you can finally be free and able to heal this part of you, whether it be represented as a personal or collective shadow. So the pain will not only come just to you, but it will come to others as well, any possible way for the message or to be free, which is very similar also to how spirits work and why they are coming to mediums. Both the personal and the collective shadow helps us avoid looking at our own hostilities, because they are always projected out onto someone or something else. Propaganda is an integral component of preserving the shadow's projections towards a particular target. It simplifies the issue and glosses over contrary evidence. The collective shadow's influence compels us to find a public enemy, replacing one nation with another, one leader with another, and one species with another. As power shifts and economic and political alliances change, the fact that we projected our rejected qualities onto one another doesn't automatically mean that the other is innocent of these projections, but the intensity of our fear, repulsion, or dislike is a barometer of the strength of the repressed energies within us, not a response to the traits as they actually exist in another. In fact, we can't really know how much is in the other until we suspend our beliefs and study the source of our projections. When we have done our personal work and understood our complexities, we will have diffused the hot buttons that caused us to react with self-righteousness and militancy. We will also have freed ourselves to see another accurately and choose an appropriate response. We are driven to fabricate an enemy, a scapegoat, and to carry out enmity. First, we create a target, our public enemy, from the hostility that resides in our subconscious shadow. The wars that follow as compulsive rituals in which we continually attempt to kill those parts of ourselves we despise or deny having. The faces of human enemies, the psychological realities applied to any situation in which we deny our hostility and project it out into the world on other races, aliens, or even insects are an easy hook for our projections because of their strange to us appearance and habits. Once we learn what is acceptable and what is not, other psychological mechanisms called selective perceptions and selective recall impeccably uphold our projections into adulthood. They filter what we let in through our senses. When the subjects are so seeming enemies, we remember only those facts and behaviors of them that supports the image we have already endorsed. To add further complexity to the picture, the contents of our personal shadow have joined with the economic incentive of the big business agriculture. It is like a fanatic zeal on the part of many specialists and most control agencies. It is likely, however, that the zeal was not so much of a conscious and collective rallying of forces as it was an unconscious gathering of images and beliefs from many projections. This even includes decision-makers invested in the status quo and employed by powerful industries and government regulation agencies. With the implicit consent of unaware or disinformed public, they make policies and garner support for the eradication of a so-seeming enemy, which always seems to reflect ramifications onto us, using whatever method is deemed necessary.